these people would I make una think everything is all and well, and that police officer family would feel it for generations. Okay, the fact that they have lived there for 284 years without any problems from any other prime minister, and you're the first one to come and try to mess with them, says a lot about who you are and who you represent. Hi guys, welcome to your girl's channel. As promised, I said I would try doing more commentary videos this year and more lives, and I've definitely been doing that, so shout out to me for that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about 6 people that were shot in the parade, the Maroon parade recently, and the whole back and forth between Andrew Holness and the leader of the Maroon tribe. I have a lot to say, and I've waited a long time to actually make sure that I don't come off aggressive or I'm not emotional as far as this is concerned, because for a long time I feel like Jamaican people have been blinded, especially where our prime minister is concerned, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a Jamaican, born and raised. I visit frequently and I plan on actually building property in Jamaica. So I feel like I'm very much Jamaican, and I have every right to speak on the things that's happening in Jamaica. So let's get into it. I actually want to make sure I read everything and give you guys scope and reason into why I'm gonna say what I'm going to say, and I want it to be from credible sources, somewhat credible, because a lot of these media houses in Jamaica are controlled by people of certain statures, people in high places, which link with our government officials and all of that. So a lot of these media houses have to be politically correct in the way that they bring forth news and stuff like that. So let's get into the first story. And I also wanted to wait a bit to make sure that I was getting all the information. So let's get into it. The first one is from Observer, and it says St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, 6 people were shot in Accompong on Thursday night, leaving at least one of the victims dead. A police source confirmed that the shooting incident happened late evening in the Maroon village, as a 6-year-old boy and a 12-year-old boy were among those shot, and one of the victims has succumbed in hospital, the source told the Observer. Unconfirmed reports are that the shooting resulted from an altercation at an event being held in the community, which followed the annual January 6th celebration of the signing of the peace treaty between Leeward, Western Maroon, and the British colonizer 284 years ago. When contacted, the Police Constable Force Communications Unit confirmed that there was a stampede with people rushing to leave the area as cops responded to the incident. This follows Wednesday's warning by the police that people should not attend the annual event in Accompong, and it is in breach of the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DMR. And funny enough, I saw an article in the Observer, let me see if I can find it, where Babsy Grange was the one that gave them the permit to actually keep the festival, while the police was saying that they were in breach of the Disaster Risk Management Act. They actually had a permit to actually keep that gathering. Why a police officer in plain clothes was there with a gun is beyond me, and I want to read another article and get more into that, because there's a little bit more details as to how the incident happened and I want everything to be crystal clear, because I find that a lot of misinformation spreads when it comes on to stuff like this, and I don't want to be a part of that. So in the Jamaica Gleaner, it says, Chief of Accompong Maroons in St. Elizabeth, Richard Currie, has responded to Tuesday night's confrontation at an event which left one man dead and 5 others, including 2 boys, with gunshot injuries. In a release posted on his Instagram page, the Maroon chief said Maroons were disheartened and shocked and left with few words to describe the events which took place at our sacred annual event. Given his own account of the story, he said the incident happened about 9 on Thursday evening, shortly after he made the rounds to remind persons who were not from the area to abide by the curfew and COVID protocols. According to Currie, a policeman in plain clothes was involved in an altercation with a member of the community and discharged his weapon. Following the incident, 6 people were injured, one whom a Maroon later died. However, he said details of the incident, which is now being investigated by the Independent Commission of Investigations, remain unclear. Currie insists that there were several protocols in place, including trained armed and unarmed security personnel, in addition to armored truck for the safekeeping of personal firearms, as persons were prohibited from taking guns into the event. He says several attempts were made to get the support of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and that they were also ongoing dialogue with the Ministry of Culture and Gender and Sports and Entertainment and Sports up to the evening of the 6th of January. We expected to have alignment on the way forward, he wrote. We had put in place significant amount of protocols to facilitate our ceremony. We were in dialogue with the ministry and was therefore surprised by a pronouncement made by the JCF regarding the January 6th celebration. So he made sure he dotted his T's and crossed his I's and got the okay to actually keep this gathering from the Minister of Education, Culture, Gender and Entertainment and Sport, which is Babsy Grange. The Gleaner reported that the police had issued a warning against staging the event as it was in breach of the disaster risk management. However, Currie went ahead with the festival, arguing that the ceremony allowed Maroons to continue their spiritual and traditional rituals just like their ancestors did before. This is a religious duty of the Maroons to honor our ancestors and to show the way forward for the born and unborn. This is our way of life, he stated. The Maroons are celebrating 284 years of signing of the peace treaty with the British. In this post today, Currie described an unfortunate and continued media reportage on the incident, given ongoing investigation, and called for the Maroons to bear with the process. He expressed condolences to the families of the injured and deceased and maintained that Accompong town is safe and a peaceful community. And I have never, absolutely never heard anything like this happening in any Maroon community. Maroon communities in Jamaica are literally one of the most incident-free communities because they are governed by a chief, a person put into that position to actually help with keeping their community together and keeping stuff like this from happening. This incident happened with a police officer. I'm unclear if he's a Maroon or not, because Chief Currie did not say he was a Maroon, or none of the media houses have reported that he was a Maroon. People have been spreading misinformation that he is so-called a Maroon, but from all the reportings that I have read, no one has said he is a Maroon and he belonged to that community. So for him to be in plain clothes, for him to have a weapon that is not allowed in this event, and to actually discharge his weapon, I feel like there was something behind the way he acted. If you're a JCF officer, you're supposed to be trained professional. You're not supposed to be emotionally charged when you have an altercation and you just pull out your gun and start shooting, and kids are in an event. You just discharge your weapon, not bearing in mind that there's kids, women, children everywhere at this event. So you're supposed to be a trained personnel. For him to discharge his weapon the way he did, and 6 people getting injured and one died, I feel like there is something behind that. I feel like somebody sent him there to cause problem, and this is just my opinion, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, my opinion, from me looking in from the outside there. And I'm gonna say the reason why I think that he was placed there to cause problems is because if you guys remember, Chief Currie and the JCF has had, not only JCF, Chief Currie, the JCF, and Andrew Holness have had an ongoing issues, ongoing tension in their community. JCF members actually went into that community and tried to do something that they were not supposed to do, try to take their weapon, or try to say they saw one of the Maroons with a weapon, which Chief Currie came out and said it's actually a weapon for hunting, and dispelled all of that. So I feel like the JCF officers have been going into these people's community, disrupting their community and causing problems, and this is why I feel like he was placed there. He was placed there to cause problems. He was placed there to make, and this is my opinion, he was placed there to make the chief look bad. He was placed there to make him look bad because they have a reason now to go into that community. They can say that there is violence in that community because multiple people were shot. They can say that he is about to incite some separation of Maroons against regular Jamaicans or government. That is why I feel like he was placed where he was placed in these people's event. And another reason why I feel like he was placed there is because narada is supposed to be drilling, mining in the Cockpit country. Certain parts of the Cockpit country belongs to the Maroon people. They have lived there and they have settled there for over 284 years. And Andrew Holness has signed contracts for narada to actually mine there. Mind you, the Cockpit country is the lungs of Jamaica. So imagine cutting out the lungs out of someone's body. Just imagine that, cutting the lungs out of someone's body, because that's what they're doing when they're mining in Cockpit country. They're cutting the lungs out of Jamaica. So you can go look up everything, all the effects of mining, everything that's about to happen to Jamaica's environment, because they are actually about to mine in Cockpit country. Currie has stated that his land, his people's land, are not going to be mined, and this is why him and Andrew Holness have had a tension. They have been butting heads. They don't see eye to eye. A lot of back and forth have been going on in the media. Also, I feel like Chief Currie is one of the first Maroons that I have seen that knows how to use social media, that is vocal, that is intelligent, and that is not afraid to go against the grain. And because he's not afraid to go against the grain, he is a target. And he is no different. And I feel a lot of that, as far as Currie and what people have to say about him, stems from jealousy. A lot of other people I've been seeing on social media saying that how the Maroons actually enslaved other Jamaicans and sold them into slavery, which is buffoonery, which is dunceness, which is absolute lies. I would love for you to show me in a book where it actually says that the Maroon people enslaved other African people and sold them to the British. Would love to see that. So that right there is complete garbage, and people need to stop saying it and stop spreading it all over social media. The Maroon people fought for all Jamaicans to be independent, for all Jamaicans to have rights. And I'm sure Nani in our agree with their role, because Andrew Holness is the absolute first prime minister to go against the grain and try to disrupt these people's community, disrupt their livelihood, disrupt their land by trying to sell it off to narada to mine, which says a lot about him and how he views people, especially Jamaican people. The fact that they have lived there for 284 years without any problems from any other prime minister, and you're the first one to come and try to mess with them, says a lot about who you are and who you represent. You don't represent regular Jamaican people, and that's my opinion. He represents the entity of Jamaica. He represents the government of Jamaica. Okay, because if he represented regular Jamaicans, he would leave these people alone and leave their land alone. And Andrew Holness have gone as far as saying, let me read the article, and this is from The Loop. It says, Currie responded to Holness, who asserted on Sunday morning that there is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica that was duly elected by the people to govern the country. Jamaica is a unitary sovereign state. There is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. I want that to be absolutely clear. None, thundered Holness in a response to a question about whether there is conflict in stated position of the government not to engage with or fund any initiative of any group that is claiming self-government status. Under my leadership, not one excuse me. Under my leadership, not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority, he said with his voice deepening. A report indicated that the Jamaican government ministry, department, and agency were urged not to engage with or fund secessionist Maroons who are asserting sovereignty from the Jamaican state. The report cited a leaked cabinet office document. And if that is the case, they don't have any sovereignty in Jamaica, why are you saying that under your rule there will never be sovereignty? Under my leadership, not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority, and that's under his leadership. And for the people that are saying that because Currie and the Maroons want sovereignty, they need to make their own roads, they don't need to use our hospitals, they don't need to use our Jamaica Constabulary Force, you guys are super dunce, okay? So because they want to have their own stuff, people want them to separate from the community. They actually played a huge role in Jamaica's history, and you can date it back to real life
agreements with the British. Not because you don't have any of that means that they should be exiled from Jamaica as a community.
And I hope all of this is something he is paying attention to, notes he's jotting down as to how he can help his people. Because I feel like if Andrew Holness actually don't get re-elected and they ask for sovereignty from a different prime minister, they will get it. And I feel like if they actually go about it by getting their own hospitals, getting their own police force established, and getting their own schools, their own water supply, stuff like that, this will actually make them more self-sufficient, and they won't have to depend on anything or anyone, and they can just be to themselves. Being a prime minister of every country or any country at all is not easy. Andrew Holness knew what he did when he sat there and asked for re-election. He knew what he was getting himself into when he became the prime minister of Jamaica. People need to stop taking up for him and talking about it's a hard job. There is no easy job. If there was easy job, everybody would have been rich. Everybody would have turned prime minister. Okay? I don't know what type of leadership he's talking about, because from my perspective, he's been doing a piss poor job as far as being a leader. 6 years as being a prime minister of a country, and for 6 years there is no crime plan. Every single year crime have gotten worse and worse, and you are talking about your leadership. You have very much lacked leadership. So if that's the case, and under your leadership they can't get sovereignty, I hope the Jamaican people see what you're trying to do and actually take you out of the position that you're in, and allow these people that have fought for 284 years for Jamaican people's rights to actually get sovereignty. If you won't do it, allow somebody to do it. And I hope Jamaican people see the type of tactics he's using against these people that have not had any issues with no other elected official in office ever. In my personal opinion, I feel like Andrew Holness is trying to run a dictatorship. He's trying to run a communist country. Because if these people are indigenous people of Jamaica, why wouldn't you grant them sovereignty? Especially if our forefathers, which is also their forefathers, laid their life on the line for us to have independence and for us to have everything that you are benefiting from. It don't make sense to me. And I'm gonna draw a parallel or a contrast to the United States, because people like to compare and contrast Jamaica to the United States. In the United States, the Native Americans have sovereignty. And the reason why they have sovereignty is because they were some of the first people that was here, first people that were in the United States, and people came here and put them into slavery, killed them off, ruined their tradition, ruined their land, ruined everything for them. It's the same thing in Jamaica with the Maroons. They fought for independence, they fought for us. So why can't they get sovereignty under Andrew Holness leadership? This is a question that the Jamaican people need to ask him. Why is he so hell-bent on not giving the Maroon people sovereignty? What is his goal, and why is he trying not to? And also, why are they trying to actually cut these people out? They said they are not going to give them funding in the leaked cabinet office document. Other prime minister has come along and gave them funding. So what really is Andrew Holness' goal? What is he trying to achieve? Is he trying to starve these people out by not giving the funding, not helping them So when they're not getting the funding, they're not getting any help or government assistance, they feel like, okay, they're going to sell their land. The government can buy that land and the government can sell it to Narada to mine it. So I feel like they're literally pushing these people to the limit. And you know what happens when you push people to the limit? Bad things happen. Bad things happen. And I'm gonna say this, I mean, I won't know what I'm immortal and say it. If I was Chief Currie, I would make everyone think all is well, and that police officer that actually set foot on my land and killed someone while I was supposed to be the protector of these people, would I make one think everything is all and well, and that police officer family would feel it for generations, okay? And generations. Babe just actually sent me that Chief Currie posted on Instagram and responded to Andrew Holness about everything that has been going on. I will definitely save this video and insert it for you guys to watch so he can speak on his own behalf. This is stemming from Cockpit Country and Andrew Holness wanting to sell Cockpit Country to Narada to mine, and Chief Currie is not allowing that to happen. He's not allowing the process to happen as smoothly, as easily as Andrew Holness would like. So they're trying everything that they can to disrupt these people's life. And I hope and pray that Jamaican people are actually paying attention. But with the way they have re-elected this man, I feel like the only person that can help them is Currie helping his own people, because on a wider scale, I feel like a lot of Jamaican people are asleep. A lot of people like to listen to what Andrew Holness have to say because he likes to use big words and he like to give them a few bucks here and there, and like to help small businesses here and there. But in the grand scheme of things, he is not here for regular Jamaican, okay? Him give you a liquor so him can walk a mile. Basically, him want have him cake and eat it too. Him want to mine in Cockpit Country, and he want to run the Maroons out of their ancestral land so he can do what he want to do for his own benefit. Anyways, I'm finished. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.